Meeting of the Students Association to order. Begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Senator Sternhagen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to roll call, Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please call the roll?
Senators Barnett, Brink, Derek Comfort, Duncan, Gibney,
Here.
Hofer,
Here.
Campson,
Here.
Markley,
Here.
Podell, Peterson, Pulse, Robbins,
Here.
Shell, Sierra, Spear, Stein, Sternhagen,
Aye.
Tennant,
Here.
Vasquez, unexcused Wessler, Garcia.
Here.
Oh, sorry. Diversity Liaison Garcia. Communications Chair Fink.
Here.
Finance Chair Peterson. Government Affairs Chair Kennecke. Chief of Staff Sabo here. Vice President Bentz. President Peterson. AFA.
Here.
AISA. Unexcused. BSA. GSA.
Here.
IRC.
Here.
LASA.
Here.
Unified Council.
Here.
Unified Council.
Here.
UPC.
Here.
Dr. Schmidt.
Here.
And Dr. Willis.
Here.
Moving on to adoption of the agenda, are there any additions or corrections to the agenda tonight? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve? Senator Brink? All of those in favor of adopting the agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The agenda is adopted. Moving on to approval of the minutes, are there any additions or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to approve? Senator Spear?
Second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved. We will move on to open forum, item A, and we'll welcome up Brianna Duran with Brookings City Council.
Madam President, point of privilege. Can the men downgrade to business casual to lose the ties due to the ridiculous temperature of this room, please?
Privilege granted.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I apologize for the casualness of my appearance as well today. And you do just get me, so I'm expecting just easy behavior, easy questions, right? So I do have a couple of things to update on, and then I'll open it up for any questions, anything you want to pass along to the city as well. So the first is that due to the efforts of a student, Thomas Reynolds, in town, he petitioned the city to, requested the city to consider naming a street after Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And it did pass unanimously, and our dedication for that street is tomorrow at 5:15. The street that was selected was Pioneer Park, and we intentionally selected that street in consultation with the student to pick a place in town that welcomed the town to visitors and to residents, and was one that had festivals such as the Arts Festival, Pride, Juneteenth, and many other community building events so that we could honor the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. properly. So all are invited to that. Next is we are currently in the feedback portion of a Brookings area transportation plan. So we did have an open house, and if you are unable to make it, we are collecting feedback digitally. And you can provide any feedback on a website. It is brookingsatp.com. And what this plan is looking at is it's a collaborative effort between the City of Brookings, between South Dakota Department of Transportation and the public, other study partnerships to really develop a long-range plan of what transportation looks like in Brookings. And so that includes investments of all the primary modes of travel, including vehicle, bicycle, pedestrian, and transit. So if you have any feedback from where you would want a crosswalk or a stoplight to how transportation in general looks like in Brookings, be sure to either send that information to a local city councilor or visit that website I said. Next is an update on downtown. So I know that Councilmember Rasmussen was here just a little bit ago, and he might have mentioned the fire that happened downtown. I don't have much of an update on that, but what I can say is that you may have seen in the register that it was determined as accidental, but the official cause is still unknown. But we are in the phase of rebuilding and restructuring and stabilizing that area. And with a partnership between BEDC and Downtown Brookings They established a relief grant funds for the affected individuals. That is looking at 12 apartments and 18 businesses that were affected. And they did open up $50,000. On top of that, there was also a community fundraiser for Brookings Relief for those individuals, and we have officially raised over $20,000. So that is incredible that the community was able to come together during that time of need and really focus on such an important aspect of our town. Another update with downtown too is that the city of Brookings and downtown Brookings has released 3 different grant programs. So we'll see a little improvement in our downtown businesses besides that affected area as well. We have a facade grant that focuses on significant alley and street facing buildings of refurnishing those front parts of the buildings. A revitalization grant that will focus on interiors. And then we have a lights, camera, action grant, and that will focus on safety, cameras, more lighting in alleyways, and just improving the downtown area. So we have some really exciting things coming to downtown too. And then finally, we have an upcoming election on April 8th. So the items that will be on the ballot are we have 2 school board members that are going to be up 2 positions, 2 city council positions, and you will be able to vote on the updates for the city charter. So that's something that I've mentioned a couple of times. If you want to learn more information about the updates, it's really just language updates. It should be updated every 10 years, and we are well past that point. So this is just a formality of making sure that we are keeping up with the community that this represents. But if you want to find specific changes, you can just find that on our city government website. That's all of my updates. Any questions or feedback from anything I said? Yes.
I have 2 questions dealing with some rezoning that's happened recently.
Okay.
So my first question deals with I believe it's the Campanile Flats project, I believe is what they're calling it. My question on that is what exactly is the timeline that the city knows of at this point in time, and have those properties been purchased yet to be redeveloped?
Sure. So timeline on the spot, that makes me a little nervous to give you a timeline, so I'm going to look up our website really quick if you give me a moment. Okay, let me pull that up. I am not sure, based off of the developer, what a specific timeline is. Told you to go easy on me. Here we are. I'll see if I can find something quick. I do know that they do have a pretty aggressive timeline. Let's see. You know, I can't find anything in these minutes that I'm looking at right now. You know, I'm not super confident in the timeline that I could give you tonight. So what I will say is that I will email Claire with an update, and I'll bring it publicly because that is an important project. I'll bring more information about the Campanile Flats too, just for those that are unfamiliar with that, because that is right next to the university and that will open up more student housing. Are you okay with that? Okay,
That's fine.
thank you. I appreciate that. But that is a good project to talk about. So thanks for letting me know.
Then for my second question, in
Yeah.
roughly the same area, with the Register reporting that the 6th Street water tower will be coming down this summer, what is the city's plan for the property that's currently sitting on?
That is still in progress. We don't have a finalized plan right now. We just talked about, making sure that the infrastructure so there were, don't quote me because I don't know if it's like radio. It was some sort of structure on top that we needed for like internet and phone, that got transferred to its own pole that you can see by McDonald's. And so then this water tower will now be decommissioned. So right now it's just going to be land because we're focusing on decommissioning right now. But do you have an idea? Would you like to pass one forward?
Well, I'm just curious because I rent the house next to it. I need to know if
Oh, sure. Yeah. Well, right now I am unaware of any plan. But that is one that I will look up because that has some personal connection. Are you looking to expand? But
Not in the immediate, not in the immediate.
Sure, sure. Yeah, no, I don't believe there's a plan, but I'll double check. Any other questions? Yeah.
I think it might be still too early to ask this, but is there any plans up in the air about what's gonna go in the old space where that building burned down on Main Street?
Sure. So, you know, from a city standpoint, there's not an official plan. What I will say is that we want to give time to the property owners to see what their plan is. Working with insurances, businesses, it could take up to a year before you see any money. So it is a very lengthy process of figuring out what that rebuilding looks like. And right now we worked through the investigation, so now they can focus on the rebuilding part of it and launching those funds for them to look at that. So again, there hasn't been any official plan of what they're looking at. I mean, ideally, we would like it to be utilized in a really intentional way, whether that be rebuilding or parkland, whatever benefits downtown. I think this is a time too that the property owners in conjunction with Downtown Brookings will look at our downtown master plan that we just passed, because that is that book of ideas of what the future is for Brookings. So right now it's just all kind of a discussion of what should we use with this opportunity that we have.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking. Lots of questions. Yeah, I love it.
A few weeks ago, you guys heard of the city about the repealing of No Mo May. You guys just want to touch on that?
Sure.
You guys are happy with that?
Yeah, absolutely. So she asked about the repealing of No Mo May. So with this was a pilot project that was brought forward by the Sustainability Committee a few years ago, and that's one of our volunteer boards under the city. And it was to bring awareness to pollinators and to try to pilot a program that created more sustainable practices, as well as that community awareness in Brookings. And we got a lot of feedback on both directions of it being really great in our town and of people just having concerns and questions over the appearance and just what it looked like in our town, and so and the feasibility of it. So we brought that feedback back to the Sustainability Committee, and we wanted it to be a recommendation of how we should move forward in the future, because we piloted it for 2 years. And they came back with the recommendation to repeal No Mo May, but in replacement, to have 5 alternative programs that they are looking at right now. So our newest vote that we just did as a city council was to pay a membership fee to get into Bee City USA. And the No Mo May initiative did come from that organization of Bee City. So this is that same organization that we've worked with, that we know they have resources. We know that they will potentially help with future funding opportunities, and they'll just be a good support system for our Sustainability Committee to research and build out these initiatives. So some of them are related to more native plants. Some of them are just local backyard practices of what you can do to support the pollinator population. Others, trying to think off the top of my head, I think are more around like rain practices, like rain collection. So there's 5 different ones that they're looking at right now. And then as each one they see as more of a priority than the other, they'll bring that forward to council, and then we'll vote to adopt or deny that as a new initiative. So it's a little in flux right now of, we brought community awareness to it, so now what practice do we want to bring to the community? Thanks for asking. Anything else? Yes.
This is kind of way off topic of everything.
That's okay.
But kind of with that master plan, there was a talk about a roundabout over by the foundation in Pugsley. Do you know anything about that that's happening?
I do know that there was a discussion from where it moved forward with that. You know, that's another one of those items that are just very expensive. And, you know, where is the funding going to come, and who should be the point of contact on the project? The last I heard, it was still, I think, potentially desired in the future, but we haven't made concrete steps moving towards that. But that's something too I can look up to see if there is any other updates on that.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, anything else? Okay. Well, this was great discussion. Thank you. So I have those items that I will try to get a short-term update on that I can email, but otherwise I'll bring a more detailed presentation in the future. So if you have any other questions or comments, feel free to email anyone on City Council in the meantime. Thank you. Can't get out of here without those. Okay, thanks, everyone.
All right, we'll move on to open forum. Item B, public comments. Are there any members of the public that wish to address the Senate tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to committee and staff reports, beginning with my own. I first of all want to say a huge thank you to our communications chair, Fink, who put on our Senate Outreach Week last week. It went fabulous. And I also want to say thank you to Finance Chair Peterson, who put on the budgeting marathon last weekend that you'll hear more about later as well. It was a very busy week on Senate last week. As for me, just a few things. I attended the celebration of faculty excellence last week and gave a welcome, so it was really neat to see a lot of our faculty get recognized. Parliamentary procedure workshop that was put on by Sigma Alpha, that was really neat to go to. I also wanted to give an update about June Cup. You'll see a resolution on here. That is something that is now available in Jack's cupboard, so we're really excited about that. That's something that I've been working with Senators Peterson and Spear on. And then also a reminder that Election Steering Committee is meeting tomorrow at 5 p.m. And then I also wanted to say that I will be gone next week interviewing for law school scholarships, so VP Benz will be chairing in my place. Best of luck to you all. Just kidding. And with that, that's the end of my report. Vice President Benz.
Thank you, Madam President. Mentioned that backhanded comments there. So just have a few things that over the past couple of weeks I've had the opportunity to do. First, a couple weeks ago, the Campus Master Plan had their report given on the future of the physical space of our campus here at SDSU. So I had the opportunity to go and listen to that report and made a few different proposals within that. I think one of the major ones was 2 proposed new buildings that will be on the Sexhauer Green, a little north and west of us right now. One that will be dedicated to research space and another dedicated to academic space in those 2 buildings. So kind of trying to recreate the main corridor of campus being that main sidewalk running east to west on campus, just because that's where the main flow of student traffic is right now, as they found in the report, and trying to concentrate more academic buildings along that space to house students in, just because that's where they're walking on campus right now. Additionally, there's going to be a proposed new main entrance to the university from the north side of campus right now to kind of where behind the library is right now. Have that be the main entrance to campus. Right now, as you'll probably notice, there really isn't a main dedicated entrance onto our campus. There's a lot of different avenues you can get onto it, but not a main dedicated one to welcome people onto STSU's campus. And that'll really help, I think, elevate our stature as a university and welcome prospective students, visitors, anybody onto our campus in a better way with that new entrance. So that's kind of everything I have about that. That report will be made public here shortly. Dr. Willis might have more information on the timeline of that report being released to the public. Secondly, I had the opportunity with Senate Outreach Week occurring last week to visit a few different classrooms and talk about Students Association and how students can participate in student government here at SDSU. So I had the opportunity to go to Psych 101 with Dr. Rebecca Martin, Bio 204 with Dr. Greg Imre, and Bio 221 with Mr. Andrew Ellis. A great opportunity to speak with all of those students in those classes and get them interested in Students Association, whether or not that's running or just participating in the upcoming general election in March. And then also last week I had 2 collegiate interviews. One was on Sodexo issues on campus. I did refer them to both Senators Pulse and Campson. So if you have any follow-up questions from that interview, maybe expecting a couple questions from that collegiate reporter regarding UFSAC and the activities occurring on that committee. Also had an interview on the future of the tuition freeze and informed that reporter that the future of that tuition freeze doesn't appear to be all that positive, but that things in the legislature can change very quickly and that a more definitive answer will occur after legislative session has completed. Lastly, I also had the opportunity to attend Budget Marathon. That was a great success. Grace will talk more about that. And then also today I had a meeting with the College of Natural Sciences Dean Subramanian, along with my fellow members of the College of Natural Sciences who represent the college here on the Senate, Senators Shemek, Vasquez, and Shell. Appreciated getting the opportunity to speak with the Dean on a few different issues during that meeting related to academic issues, and then also the creation of a President's Council, similar to what the Prexy Council and the College of Agriculture, Food and Environmental Sciences would be, as well as a Joint Engineering Council and the Jerome J. Lohr College of Engineering, modeling that system in the College of Natural Sciences. Along with that, I'm going to be scheduling a meeting with Dean Ernest in the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences regarding a similar creation of a model of that student leadership in that college as well. End of report.
Thank you. Chief of Staff Sabo.
It's good to be back. Hope you all survived Hayden being your chief of staff a couple weeks ago. I've got a couple things tonight. So in the next coming weeks, if you live in residence halls or know someone over there, you might see Narcan being placed. So it's getting placed into residence halls, the student union, athletic facilities, and the Performing Arts Center. So if you have any questions on that, just let me know. Graduation stole requests. I'm going to be done taking those tonight. So if you're walking at graduation in May and you want to buy a stole, let me know and I'll put you on our list. And then if you guys have any legislation and you want to like send it out to a bunch of senators, if you could send that to me first and then I'll make a link for you just so that we don't have two separate links and people are putting their names on different legislation. So it all shows up on the agenda. But end of report.
Finance Chair Peterson.
Yeah, as you guys have heard, we held our budgeting marathon this last weekend. We had roughly 15 student organizations come and present their budgets for fiscal year 2026. Our reconciliation day will be held on March 5th. So after that finance committee meeting, be looking for our general budget proposal on the agenda. And then just to clear some things up, applications for special allocation fund and new venture fund are still available. There's just some confusion with that. So organizations are still welcome to apply for those funds. Please email me if your organization is interested in applying.
Government Affairs Chair Kennedy.
Hi, everyone. I just have a few updates from legislative session as I've been continuing to watch it. The three bills that we took stances on, Senate Bill 100, it was amended to include an enhanced carry permit, and then as well as a few specific guidelines as to where you can bring a gun and all of those things, whereas you can't. And that was passed on the Senate floor, and it's headed to House State Affairs next. House Bill 1041 was referred to Joint Committee on Appropriations. That's the library bill. And that will be heard tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. And then House Bill 1193, the housing bill, failed on the House floor 42 to 28. Crossover day is tomorrow, so we will likely not see, well, we actually will not see any new legislation dropped. I'll continue to watch if there's any hog house bills, anything like that.
Communications Chair Fink.
Yeah, so obviously, Senate Outreach Week was last week, so thank you to everybody who signed up to help and came to events. It really shows you care, I suppose. Thanks for helping us out. Yeah, other than that, putting that together and attending those events, that's pretty well been it. I went to a Little Eye Sheep meeting last Thursday. I will be getting my sheep on Monday. So if you have any names for the sheep, please let me know. End of report.
Diversity Liaison Garcia.
Yeah, last week we had a diversity and inclusion committee meeting and we met with the Nepalese Student Association and they came to us and talked about funding for their upcoming Nepalese night. They're really looking forward to it. It will be the first time that they have this since 5 years ago. And I was grateful to also have Finance Chair Peterson with us to answer any their questions about any funding options for their event. End of report.
Move on to ex officio reports, beginning with AFA.
This week is our Warrior Wellness Week. We have lots of activities and learning opportunities planned. Today was physical and environmental wellness. We had a table in the union with information about the vet center. And tomorrow is financial well-being, where we'll be doing dog petting in the Hobo Gallery from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. We also have people who work in transition assistance and VA health available throughout the day. Wednesday is emotional well-being. We'll have a storytelling worksheet at 3. And then Thursday is occupational well-being. We'll have military recruiters in the union. And we'll also have a game night at Wooden Legs. And then Friday is social and mindful well-being. We'll have a table set up in the union from the Brookings Veteran Service Officer. And then we're also selling discount cards throughout the week with local businesses like Brookings Bakery, Cool Beans, and Ray's. End of report.
Thank you. GSA.
Hi, everybody. PSA will be hosting the Color of Awareness tomorrow in the VBR from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. We'll be partnering with the other arms of the Office of Multicultural Accessibility office. So if you're free, please come check that out. And then on Friday at 11:30 to about 2 p.m., we'll be serving our soul food luncheon free of cost to every student. We're hoping to feed about 250 students. End of report.
Thank you. GSA.
All right, as DSA just said, we will be with the Tunnel of Awareness as well. We are gonna be selling some, pins, cause our pin maker just got in, so feel free to pick up some pins to put on your backpack, your stash, or whatever you really wanna put it on. And, GSA is gonna be there with a little screen, and we're gonna be, showing off some slides of our presentations we have, so, look out for those. I didn't make any of the slides, but I will be providing the screen free of charge. I can't charge for that right now. That's about it, end of report.
Thank you. IRC. No report. Perfect. Lassa.
As BSA and GSA have said, we will also be participating in the Tunnel Awareness on Tuesday from 10 to 2. We're going to be sharing about some cultural insights on the Hispanic perspective, which is also bad. It's interesting to see that, you know, not everything's black and white, sometimes it's Hispanic. Otherwise, nothing else to report.
Thank you. Unified Council.
For me, just that Unified Council has begun planning for Greek Week, and the tentative dates for that are April 6th through the 11th. End of report.
No report.
Thank you. UPC.
As of today, our external applications for positions on UPC are open, and they will be open until March 7th. Interviews will be taking place the week of March 17th. We're currently looking for 8 positions on our board to be filled, including the vice president, the social awareness, 2 special event coordinators, arts coordinator, showcase coordinator, films and forum coordinator, and a marketing coordinator. It's a great opportunity to plan events for the entire student body, and it is also a paid position at $1,250 per semester. As for upcoming events, we have one on Monday, March 3rd from 6 to 8 p.m. UPC is going to be hosting Generational Trivia Night in the Hobo Day Gallery. I believe the top teams are going to either earn a cash prize or some sort of gift card. It hasn't been clarified to me yet. End of report.
Thank you. We'll go on to advisor reports, beginning with Dr. Schmidt.
No report.
Vice President Willis.
No report.
All right, move on to committee reports. Are there any committees I would like to report out tonight? Senator Brink.
Yeah, the Parking Committee convened last Thursday, the 20th. It was a pretty short meeting. The main thing to keep everyone in here aware of is that the new residential lot that they're gonna be building, like across from Starbucks and across from Big East, that's officially gonna start construction immediately in the spring. It should be ready by August, which means that Daktronics is gonna go back to completely commuter, so big news. And then the other thing I have to mention is that we approved some changes to our charter to improve the second level appeal process so that we won't have a big 3 cancellation kerfuffle like we did last fall. So at long last, that issue should officially be resolved, providing that admin approves the changes. So yeah, that's all I have in the report.
Other committees I would like to report out tonight. Senator Pulse.
UPSAC met last Thursday and we went over a few things. They are looking at moving the simple servings in Larson's completely just to the union so that they would expand their service there and their hours, and it would be more options there. And then the simple servings in Larson's would go to a deli, maybe. They're not sure on that. And that is because some of the equipment in simple servings is failing, and they don't want to give like a bad allergy-friendly service, and they'd rather just have top of the line allergy-friendly food in the union than to give the subpar version over the competition. And they are also looking for feedback on that, so if you have anything to say about that, they would like to know. And for the simple servings in the market, you would be able to use block on the meals since it would no longer be in Larson's. And then this Thursday for lunch, there will be 7 chefs having a chili cook-off at Larson's. And then the last thing is that Qdoba is now available for the Starship app in the evenings. Yeah, end of report.
Thank you. Other committees I'd like to report out tonight. Senator Stein.
International Affairs Committee met last Thursday. They talked about the admittance of international students. There's about 900 students right now enrolled for fall. They're about 50-50 undergrad, 50-50 graduate. We heard a little bit about China Night. They've expressed some complaints working with Sodexo for hosting it on campus and talked about possibly moving themed nights off campus in the future if Sodexo doesn't end up cooperating. I think that's everything. End of report.
Other committees I'd like to report out tonight. All right, seeing none, we'll move on to unfinished business and seeing, oh, sorry, any questions for any of the reports tonight? Chief of Staff Sabo.
Miss UPC, what night is Generational Trivia Night?
Monday, March 3rd.
Thank you.
Any other questions for any of the reports tonight? Okay, now we will move on straight down to new business. We will have begin with item A, Resolution 24-14-R. Chief of Staff Sabo, would you please introduce this item?
Resolution 24-14-R. Title of resolution reads, SDSU Students Association supports the implementation of June Cup Cares on campus. Prime sponsors include Senators Peterson and Spear. Sponsors include Chief of Staff Sabo, Finance Chair Peterson, Communications Chair Fink, and Diversity Liaison Garcia.
Would anyone request that this item be read in full? Seeing none, we'll vote on this next week. Moving on to new business, item B, opening slate for President and Vice President nominations. This is the third meeting these will be open and is the final chance for nominations. With that, can I entertain a motion to open the slate?
Moved.
Senator Brink?
So moved.
Second.
All right, the slate is now open. Are there any nominations? Seeing none, can I entertain a motion to close the slate? Senator Gibney?
Moved.
Second.
All right, the slate is now closed and the slate will remain closed until next year at this time. All right, moving on to item 10, topics for future discussion. Are there any topics for future discussion tonight? Senator Brink.
So I apologize that I didn't notice this till after we had approved the minutes, but the ones that are linked to this agenda are the ones from the 3rd. And it needs to be the ones from the 10th. So I would have definitely brought that up instead of letting us approve it if I had noticed, but I figured I'd bring it up right now, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need to re-vote on approving the minutes, Vice President Willis, or is it fine?
You might just delay so if the correct minutes aren't attached to the meeting agenda, my recommendation would be that you approve them at your next meeting with both this meeting's and last meeting's. So you're approving.
Okay, perfect. We'll plan on that. Thank you, Senator Brink. Apologies. I did make the agenda.